Previously on Checkpoint.
I'm saying they are racist and they are incompetent, and they say I'm a fraudster.
Pharmacist Moloko Mugoditwa shared how some of South Africa's most powerful medical aid schemes drove him to bankruptcy. This week, more black professionals speak out.
So they've blacklisted you?
Yes, they've blacklisted me. So my patients are paying cash.
Their allegations formed part of a probe into the so-called Blacklist, a list of mostly black professionals flagged by medical aid schemes for alleged fraud.
Why does that list comprise only of black names?
We don't know.
The schemes have been given time to respond to a preliminary finding of unfair discrimination before a final report is drafted.
In fact, we say hashtag pay back the money.
It's Checkpoint, and I'm Ngepile Mabuse.
Dr. Solly Motlanthe qualified as a general practitioner in the 1980s during the apartheid era. He says the preliminary findings of the Section 59 investigation into alleged exclusionary practices against black healthcare professionals by medical aid schemes serve as a stark reminder of an oppressive time.
It was difficult those days to get most of our people, black people, into medical schools. I went to TEFLOP. That was 1978 in TEFLOP. I did my first year there. They call it pre-med, before you go and do medicine. Then 1986, I came to Kagiso to open my practice. I started in a back room not far from where we are now. And then in 1990, I built this practice up until today.
All was in order until
2018, round about the 17th of October, I get a letter from Discovery Health that they are doing a routine review of certain claims which I've submitted for the past 3 years.
He says Discovery accused him of claiming for the dispensing of medication he did not have in his practice and gave him a verbal ultimatum.
If you realize that you didn't have these medications, the best thing is to confess up front. Then the matter will be resolved amicably. Discovery was actually investigating fraud which they cannot prove. Now they want these invoices to go and dig for whatever discrepancies. You need to have a smoking gun in any investigation.
With pharmacies far from his practice, Dr. Motlanthe stocks some medication for his patients. Motlanthe says Discovery wanted to verify claims relating to the procurement of these drugs.
Why do you have come off after 3 years to come and validate a claim? Your systems should pick any problem. Let's say within, the next round of payment, it's every 30 days. So your systems probably are useless. I spend about 9,000 on A4 paper and cartridges. My staff had to work up to 12 midnight to sort all these things. Also the pharmaceutical, they said no, they'll charge me $250 per copy. So this is not free. Discovery Health wanted these invoices for free.
Dr. Motlanthe sent Discovery Health this bill of 75,000 Rand for compiling his practice records. Discovery refused to pay, and he refused to submit the information requested by the scheme.
Because you are refusing to give us the invoices, you'll have to pay us back the money, which was about 260,000. They sent me a letter demanding the 260. Then I had to engage a lawyer.
Thereafter, Dr. Motlanthe says he sought assistance from the Council for Medical Schemes, or CMS.
Then they sent me a letter that, no, according to this act, you must give Discovery those invoices for free. I said, no, that's impossible. I mean, you people, you don't even know how your act works.
In December 2018, Discovery Health blacklisted him.
They blacklisted me. So my patients are paying cash. Now Discovery write me a letter that you had this private arrangement with our patient who paid to 1,000 rand and claimed, and we paid the patient back. We need our 1,000 rand back. I mean, that's aggression and vigilantism and, abuse of power, gangsterism and lawlessness. I haven't dealt with the medical aid. I dealt with the patient. Just to harass me, you write me a letter that you want that money back. I mean, that's illogical. The money which they said I'm owing them, they went quiet. It's 2 years. We're going to the third year now. If really I was owing that money, then you are irresponsible with membership funds. You must try by all means to take me to court, to recover the money.
Motlanthe says his dispute with Discovery continues, and to this day, the medical aid is yet to explain why he is on indirect payment. Indirect payment is when a medical aid stops paying the medical practitioner and pays the patient instead.
Discovery Health was running a parallel justice system in a democratic country. They were a law unto themselves. And doctors were handing themselves there like, living sacrifices because they need direct payment. They went there begging, my Lord Discovery, please have mercy on me. I need direct payment. I can't survive.
Mpumalanga-based Secretary General of the National Healthcare Providers Association, Dr. Prudence Buthelezi, says after numerous colleagues complained about Discovery Health's processes, she conducted her own research.
In 2014, I went around Mpumalanga asking the white practitioners, do you know about the monthly investigation that is done by medical aid, that they are requesting files or invoices? Have you ever experienced that? And all of them, in fact, they've never experienced that. And I found that this is only done to blacks. So they are pushing us as black out of business. This is more racism than anything else.
Next.
You chose to commit fraud. I'm not interested in you.
Excuse me?
I'm here on behalf of the business rescue practitioner, and we are going to execute those.
No.
A chain of pharmacies belonging to a professional on the blacklist shut down.
Are you a business rescue practitioner? Excuse me?
You chose to commit fraud. I'm not interested in you.
Excuse me?
I'm here on behalf of the business rescue practitioner, and we are going to execute those.
Excuse me?
The woman shouting at her wit's end behind the camera is Durban-based pharmacist Pravisha Pillay. 3 months after the incident in June 2018, King Edward Pharmacy, seen in the video, was sold due to provisional liquidation.
Are you a business rescue practitioner?
According to Pillay, by the time she recorded this video, she had endured a 5-year legal battle with Discovery Health to keep her 3 pharmacies afloat. The medical scheme blacklisted King Edward in May 2014. 1 year prior, in May 2013, Main Pharmacy and Hill Street Pharmacy were blacklisted. They were sold in May 2016. Pillay says Discovery Health blacklisted her pharmacies because she refused to honor a 1 million rand acknowledgement of debt drawn up and presented to her using what she describes as bullying tactics. In 2013, Pillay says she was invited to Discovery Health Sandton offices to discuss merchandising.
Upon calling them, I did mention that the attorney that could come along with us was busy in trial, but they mentioned that it was just a routine meeting that all their service providers come to, and if we're not happy with what transpires at the meeting, I could just simply adjourn the meeting and come back with him on another day. I was 32 weeks pregnant, and in the next 2 weeks, I would not be able to fly. So we decided to go to Joburg the next day. So what do you think?
Accompanied by her husband, Ravesh Pillay, she alleges the discussion was led by 2 Discovery Health forensic investigators whose names we've redacted.
So we entered this security pin pad, tiny little room with very poor ventilation, no air conditioning. Mr. and Mr. thereafter entered the room. This particular room was also security pin pad, and we were locked. The 4 of us were locked in there.
Dr. Gumede is the chairperson of the National Healthcare Professionals Association. He says he was exposed to Discovery Health's alleged interrogatory practices in 2015.
They said, come through, then I went to them. Lo and behold, you get into this place which is like a prison interrogation room. A very small room with some, maybe 3 or 4 guys around you, and then telling you, no, we identified certain claims which we think they were fraud and whatnot.
Discovery Health is the largest medical scheme in South Africa with close to 3 million beneficiaries. Checkpoint was unable to locate the Discovery Health forensic investigators implicated to get their side of the story and have therefore redacted their names.
Explained that there were discrepancies at the pharmacy, and his legal representative requested him to bring those particular items. He thereafter started pulling out items from a bag. They were like various items, like medicinal items, a few medicines, confectionery, chips, sweets, and chocolates. These are items that he could have got from anywhere, but he insisted that they were from our pharmacy. He said all of the items totaled up to 1,800 rand. He says they were non-claimable items and should never ever have been dispensed. We don't even know if these items were even dispensed at our pharmacy.
The medication and assorted snacks formed part of the evidence of medical aid fraud by Pillay.
He said as a result of these discrepancies, he needed us to sign an acknowledgement of debt of 1 million rand. So at that moment we said, we need to call the pharmacy to verify and see exactly what he's speaking about. At that stage he said, no, we're not allowed to call the pharmacy. Because he was getting quite hot and claustrophobic in the room, I said, please could I go to the toilet, or please could I get a glass of water? At that stage, he said he woke up and he banged onto the table. The next thing was, we said, please could I go to the toilet just so that we could get some fresh air? And he became more aggressive and used a harsher tone and replied, no, we will be stuck in the room until we sign their acknowledgement of debt for 1 million rand.
We said that to him. We said, she's pregnant and, you shouldn't be doing this. Can we phone our attorney? We even mentioned the attorney's name. He banged the table and said, no, you cannot call your attorney in. And both, I think Pravisha and I both took a breath and almost stepped, we were seated and just, leaned back a bit because we didn't know what was coming next, whether he was going to hit us or where we didn't know.
This 1 million rand was just a thumb-sucked amount. He never explained how he got to this figure.
The Pillays say, fearing the loss of their baby due to distress, and in order to be granted license to leave the Discovery Health premises, they signed 2 acknowledgements of debt.
The ridiculous amounts of 1 million rand for an issue or discrepancy of a little over 1,800 and 250,000 for the other discrepancy of, again, just over 1,800. Those 2 amounts was 1,250,000 that needed to be paid within 3 years, and we had no intention of ever paying the amount. As I mentioned, we only signed to get out of the offices and to get back to Durban.
The acknowledgement of debt reads, "Allegations have been made against you," which allegations led to an investigation into your practice. As a result, a meeting has been held, and the parties have now reached the following agreement relating to this investigation.
We tried our level best, but unfortunately we weren't able to have the acknowledgement of debt declared null and void.
To date, Pillay says fraud charges against her have never been laid by Discovery Health. She obtained this police clearance as proof. In April 2013, Discovery Health submitted a complaint to the South African Pharmacy Council, or SAPC, against Main Pharmacy. After investigating, the council received legal opinion that evidence provided in such a manner by Discovery Health could amount to entrapment, and that such evidence was inadmissible. In October 2015, the Durban High Court made a provisional order for Main Pharmacy Hill Street, owned by Provisha Pillay, to pay Discovery Health the 1 million rand. Mabu Marweshe of Marweshe Inc. Attorneys explained how a provisional sentencing order works.
The challenge that you would have in proceedings such as the provisional sentencing is that it is the procedure that is meant for a particular relief that you can seek. You need to have a liquid document. Now, if that liquid document presented before the court is accepted, I cannot raise the issues that I entered into this contract in a manner that the court should scrutinize it. The court would simply say, if you want to challenge the validity of the contract, you then have to pursue a separate course of action where both parties will be given an opportunity to argue their case on the basis of the evidence that they will produce, whether the contract was entered into under duress or so.
Unable to afford further legal battles with Discovery, the following year, the Pillays approached the Council for Medical Schemes, or CMS.
Between May and August 2016, we met with the senior investigator and we lodged a formal complaint. I then went to the Department of Health because CMS reports to the Department of Health. Nothing happened.
CMS and the Department of Health declined Checkpoint's interview requests. Discovery also declined to be interviewed by Checkpoint and sent the following statement. As far as we are aware, the panel found no evidence and made no findings on allegations of extortion and intimidation against Discovery Health, nor did the panel make any findings that the conduct of Discovery Health was illegal or improper in conducting investigations.
Coming up, the Board of Healthcare Funders, a body that represents most medical aid schemes, responds.
Providers are saying we are being unfairly treated, right? And there was a formal investigation, which is still ongoing.
Not launched by BHF, correct? Did you launch the investigation?
The complaint was not to the BHF.
Discovery Health is not a member of the Board of Healthcare Funders, or BHF. However, BHF represents a large percentage of medical aids in South Africa, so we posed our questions to its managing director, Dr. Katlego Moturi. When we asked Dr. Moturi about the competence of medical schemes claim verification processes, he had this to say.
Now, what some schemes do, and depends on the sophistication of the systems that they use, and they can, within the 30 days, investigate if they are well-resourced, right? If they are unable to validate it within 30 days, they are supposed to inform the member and the doctor that there is a challenge, and then you have, I think, 60 days to do that. And I think that process has also been found wanting.
Dr. Mutudi says the BHF would act decisively if schemes misrepresented information about medical practitioners.
If a scheme could come on and deliberately lie to the industry about the provider is able to provide information that to the contrary, then it would trigger an investigation. The same way as it has happened now. Providers are saying we are being unfairly treated, right? And there was a formal investigation, which is still ongoing.
Not launched by BHF, correct? Did you launch the investigation?
The complaint was not to the BHF. It was to the CMS.
The complaint is about your members. The complaint is about your members, which have been, and these complaints have been ongoing for years. Can I ask you, Dr. Mutudi, for how long has the BHF been aware of these allegations of racial profiling and unfair discrimination by your members?
The complaints of racial discrimination only came just before this was launched, of racial discrimination.
Dr. Mutudi then attempted to justify the misconduct some of BHF's member schemes are accused of.
If you are always reporting cases to the professional body and all practitioners are getting is a 20,000 rand fine, if you keep on knocking on the same door but not getting the right answer, you become innovative. Your innovation can be correct or can be incorrect. And that can be either out of desperation or whatever it is.
So isn't innovative ways just a nice way to paint the questionable acts, sometimes illegal acts of medical schemes, of your medical scheme members?
So innovation does not mean illegal.
It's in contravention of the act. So let's not say innovative, please, Dr. Mutudi. It's not innovative.
No, but now you're, like I explained nicely, that you can be innovative. It doesn't have to be legal. I agree with you. But I'm saying if you hit a brick wall, you innovate.
So now how do you, Doctor, explain as BHF the racial profiling of, let's call it what it is, Black, Indian and colored medical professionals by your members?
So the panel found that there is a bias, right? But they also say that they found no intent on the part of the schemes. Had it been found that it is deliberate, it would really be deplorable.
It's deplorable because the results have been deplorable. So it is deplorable that the Medical Schemes Act has not been followed.
In my opinion, there is not a finding that there was deliberate breaking of the law. I do admit, and the Section 59 panel has found that there might be processes that are untoward. They have spoken about possibility of bullying and unmediated processes. We do admit that there might be or there is a need to clean up on the process.
The medical aid schemes implicated in the Section 59 probe findings were given 6 weeks to submit responses. Interested parties have till March 5th this year to comment on the interim report before final findings are made. All the medical professionals Checkpoint spoke to plan to pursue separate litigation against the medical schemes that accuse them of fraud. Dr. Prudence Buthelezi says medical schemes found guilty of racial discrimination should be made to pay.
Yes, we will pursue compensation. In fact, we say #pay back the money. All that the money that was taken unfairly from the healthcare professionals must be paid back.
Legislated apartheid may have been tossed into the trash cans of history, but it is stories like these that make us all question whether economic apartheid still lives. Thanks for watching Checkpoint. I'm Ngepile Mabuse.